Chew on this NFL talk. We review the 2011 season and preview the 2012 season of each division. The Chew on this cast of Bob Alvis, Scott Wilson, and Will Castle. In this episode, we dive in and look at the AFC East. Bob Alvis, Scott Wilson, Will Castle. West Virginia just scored again, too soon. We're going to talk some NFL. We're going to talk some NFL talk here, and basically what we're going to do is review the season in a nutshell, and then kind of look ahead to maybe what we think these teams should do for the 2012 season. It doesn't matter if you're in the playoffs or if you're out. We're going to do all 32. And we're going to start with the AFC East, and I'm not going to go in any order other than what comes to my head first. Buffalo Bills. I will start. I don't know what they're doing, really. Honestly. They signed Ryan. They're stuck with Ryan Fitzpatrick because they signed him, I want to say, to a 6-year deal. Granted, contracts in the NFL are not as valuable as napkin.
Play of the year.
But I think if I have trade bait on Buffalo, I trade Stevie Johnson. I don't think he fits in with Chan Gailey. I think Stevie Johnson, to me, kind of reminds me of Joe Horn a little bit right now. I think he's a good player, but I don't think Chan Gailey cares to put up with those theatrics.
That Jets game definitely didn't endear him to anybody.
What grown man is named Stevie?
Mike McClarney would be great for this podcast because he can break down the Bills left and right. Defense needs to improve, though, I think, without saying. And I think they also have to decide, even though I think the NFL system right now is a 2 running back system, who's the man? Is it Fred Jackson or is it C.J. Spiller? Because if it's C.J. Spiller, then I think they could probably get something for Fred Jackson. If it's Fred Jackson, boy, you really blew a pick on C.J. Spiller. Your thoughts on the Bills?
The Fitz re-signing was the biggest mistake of the year.
Smart guy, though.
He's went to Harvard. Of course he's smart.
Yeah,
here's what drives me nuts. And I've seen so many teams do this, and is guys playing good for a short amount of time, and then we're like, let's re-sign him now. Why? He's already going to play for you that season.
Right.
Let it play out.
Right.
Because guess what? You're not,
Was Fitz's contract up after this year?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I didn't think so, but
it's just one of let the whole season play out. Let him keep earning his keep. I do not because the most. Let's say he has he had a better season. You're not gonna be paying him a whole lot more than you would have now.
Do you remember when they extended him? What week?
It was when they were. I think.
Was it after they beat New England?
I thought it was a little deeper.
I want to say when
7 or 8.
I want to say when they were like 6-1.
Okay, here's my question: who are you worried about as your competition for Ryan Fitzpatrick? I say that with all due respect. I mean, to me, there are a lot of teams in this league right now that don't need quarterbacks as much. So, I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick might upgrade.
Maybe you only need one.
Right, Ryan Fitzpatrick might upgrade 5 teams. Why rush to do that signing? Your thoughts on the Bills?
I just think they need to grow some toughness. I mean, they started losing and then they just folded so fast. It's just like, what in the world happened? I think they have enough talent to be decent in that division. They proved that first half of the year. But
keep Chan Gailey?
This was his first year? Second year.
Well, that means nothing in today's
NFL.
I
mean, the key is the fact that the owners are cheap. They're not going to pay. They're not going to pay another coach to not coach.
The thing about Gailey is he's not really that rah motivator guy.
He's like your grandpa.
He's a supposedly really intelligent.
Is he a taskmaster though? Is he going to hold people's feet to the fire?
No, I think
just look at him. He just looks like a schlub.
Right. But I mean, draft wise, I know I'm not asking for a specific player, but I think they need to work on something on the defensive side of the ball. Mm-hmm. Unless you want to go up front, and I mean, honestly, who can't use help up front?
Right.
Very few people, but I think defensively is the way to go. Next team we're going to talk about, and I'll let Will Castle start with the New York Jets.
Rex needs to go. Sanchez needs to go. That team
needs an enema.
Yep.
Apparently, is
pretty much
here.
But
it's pretty dramatic.
It's one of those is that Rex's personality became more just old tread real quick. He didn't inspire the team. The team, I think, just got, it's like, oh, we were on Hard Knocks. That's the last team anyone was seen on Hard Knocks. We're still America's, people still love us. Like, yeah, then you kind of sucked this year. And your coach did nothing except be all into foot and all feet and all that crap. If Jets don't win the Super Bowl next year, I don't care if he can go to the Super Bowl. If they don't win it, Rex is gone. And he even in a press conference, he admitted, I didn't have the pulse of the team. You don't admit that, jackass. That's like, that's like
the guy in Happy Gilmore.
I think Tannenbaum goes before Rex goes.
And I think Schottenheimer certainly goes before Rex goes.
The best quote I've heard of Brian Schottenheimer is with the Jacksonville Jaguars vacancy. They're interested in Schottenheimer, and somebody on ESPN said, and it was one of the Sports Center anchors, because their job first is to be funny, second to present the sports. Try to be funny, then present the sports. But somebody said, I'm sure the Jets would drive Schottenheimer to the airport right now to go interview. And I do agree. But I think Tannenbaum's got to go before Rex goes. But again, to reference Mike McClarney, and he's the only person that'll talk football with me at 4:30 in the morning. I think Rex's shtick has gotten a little old. I didn't mean to interrupt you because you were kind of next in the rotation.
Okay. That's sorry. I would kind of agree with the Sanchez thought. He's definitely regressed.
Is he still an NFL quarterback? And by that I mean starter.
I'd be curious to see how he does in a different market, in a different team.
To me he's Joe Flacco.
Mm-hmm. He could be Alex Smith and be that quarterback for a good team, and he was last year.
But they're not going to trade him. And if they did, I don't know anybody that would pay the price of what the Jets would ask.
But also the fact Jets need a run. LT's probably not going to be back.
LT might not be back anywhere. Does anybody know off the top of their head where Seattle picks?
I would say it's probably in the late single digits.
What
9.
What are you thinking about?
A trade with Sanchez to Seattle?
Well,
and what, Jackson?
The thing is, if you're first off, player-for-player deals are rare. Trading a first-round pick is even rarer.
Champ Bailey, Clinton Portis.
That's like the
They're
last,
rare.
yeah.
Yeah, if you're, you look at the free agency of quarterbacks. If you're the Jets, I think you've got to bring in somebody established to take over that squad. If you're the Jets, one thing would be
they got Brunell.
What if Peyton Manning got cut?
Not gonna happen.
What if? He could handle New York, I think, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
In the same city with his brother.
Yeah, and I don't know if he would want to associate himself with. And don't get me wrong, I think Rex Ryan's very funny. I think it's a great shtick. I'm not saying he's a dumbass when it comes to football either. He probably knows a whole lot more than I do. I would hope. But I just think that I don't think Peyton Manning would associate himself with those guys, if that makes sense. No. I think the one guy that's got to go is Santonio Holmes. I think he's
he's become a cancer.
I think he's very cancerous. I don't think Sanchez is cancerous. I just think Sanchez is not very good.
Yeah.
And I heard that Rex Ryan...
They took the captain.
Yeah, he says that he doesn't want to do captains anymore because of this one thing.
It's like...
Who's the Jets' other receiver? I'm having a mind block right now.
Plaxico?
He's got it. Well, I don't know why they got him in the first place, but...
Yeah, it's Plaxico.
And the defense wasn't that good either, and that's kind of what they're known for.
Yeah.
Sean Green, to me, is... I'm not trying to hold this a fantasy football game against him, but I think overall he's been a disappointment.
Yeah.
The whole team has.
Yeah, so...
There's no reason why they shouldn't have made the playoffs this year.
But you don't say fire Rex.
No. I like Rex Ryan.
See, my thing is this. Why fire a coach if you don't have a plan? If you know who you're going to get...
Rex is going to be back next year, don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's...
If you're going to fire somebody, though, I think you need to have a list. And if you want to put some unreasonable people on that list, that's fine. But at least have 2 reasonable names on there. I'm not saying you got to go Rooney Rule and have one white reasonable person and one black reasonable person.
Yeah.
But just have a couple reasonable names on there. But I think the Jets could get very bad very quick. Or, if they get that mantra of it's us against the world type thing.
Like the Giants do a
right.
lot.
Maybe they change it.
Except, Coughlin's a lot better pulling that off.
Miami Dolphins.
Dolphins, very strange season. They were so bad in the first half, and then actually pretty darn good in the second half.
Yeah.
I think Matt Moore. I don't know what his contract situation is. I think he probably earned himself some money somewhere else. I think Miami's looking for a quarterback. I think they're okay with Reggie Bush.
Somebody said on
She's done
Twitter,
better than
and I think it was Omar Kelly from the one of the Miami papers said, and I'm not sure if this is an exact quote, but the Dolphins are better off with Matt Moore than the Rams are with Sam Bradford, which basically to me is saying Matt Moore is more viable than Sam Bradford. I could be wrong on that, but I think it somebody said that. I'm not sure if it was Omar. It was on Omar's Twitter, but I don't agree with that at all. I think Matt Moore should start, but I agree with Scott somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
I don't fire Sperano with 2 or 3 games to go. I think.
No.
I mean, what's the point?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, any midseason coaching change.
I don't know. I think Moore found his groove at the second half of that season. That team, got better. And you could say if they got full training camp, maybe better. I doubt it.
Let me cut you off real quick. Matt Moore played for Carolina last year.
Yes.
If he had been playing like this for Carolina, I take it they still probably draft Cam Newton in your guys' eyes.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably.
Okay. Just 3 guys talking.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The defense is still decent.
Jason Taylor retiring.
He hadn't done much.
I think
last
he was
year.
more of like, a figurehead.
Yeah.
Still got Joey Porter.
I think they're going to be pretty good actually next year. I think,
Coach?
but that's what it comes down to whether or not I think Moore stays. It's really who becomes the head coach.
Who becomes the head coach?
This is your department.
Yeah.
I don't. People are talking Jeff Fisher up, and I heard Jeff Fisher kind of has a thing for that Tampa Bay job. I think if Jeff Fisher coaches Miami, though, I think Jeff Fisher is one of the best coaches in recent history of the NFL of doing more with less. Because I never was really impressed with any of those Tennessee teams he had. No. Even McNair and Eddie George I didn't think were great because they didn't have great receivers or a great defense. But with that being said, I think Fisher does more with less. And with this Miami team, it's going to be so hard to hop. I mean, hopping the Jets, I don't think it's going to be as hard. Hopping the Patriots, though, it's like hopping the Yankees.
Is that your goal,
Or the
though?
Red
I mean, you
Sox.
could still make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at the same time, if you say that, aren't we kind of all fighting for one spot? Because, Pittsburgh and Baltimore are going to get 2 of them.
It's true.
I mean, I don't know. I think Miami in the draft, I think probably, again, I haven't seen a ton of Dolphins games, but I would think defensive side of the ball.
Our defense has been pretty good. Second half of the year.
Well, I mean, if you go on the offensive side of the ball, I mean, where do you go? I mean, maybe line. I don't, with
Tight end?
with Daniel Thomas and Reggie Bush, I don't know if you need a running back.
Here's one thing. I don't know how often this is done, that when a new coach comes in, that they keep the other coaches. But who's the OC for Miami?
No clue.
I think it was Todd Bowles.
Did he get fired too?
No, he's the interim head coach.
It's one of those
And
that
supposedly he's getting the look. Might be courtesy, but
it's just one of those that when the team shows signs of getting it together, and Miami did, it's keep the same coordinator. It's where they're not coming in brand new and basically you're starting over again. I think if they get a new OC, I think they're in trouble. If they keep they keep some of the heads,
but I think you can't tell your head coach,
You must take this guy.
yeah, keep the OC. Because he's going to bring in a guy that he's comfortable with, he knows, and he's worked with, type of thing. I get what you're saying.
But it's one of
I
those,
get what you're saying.
Then there's one of those you could ask coach, like, do you think you keep him? He says no. It's like, all right, go.
And the other thing I would like to know, is all, not everybody that gets hired as an offensive or defensive coordinator, which I compare to like the bench coach in baseball. I don't think everybody always knew the head coach. I think sometimes the head coach does interview the guy.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it's also kind of the good old boy network of I'm going to get a guy I know, not necessarily who's unqualified, but just a guy I know I'm more comfortable with. He's going to come in and be my...
One I'm related to.
Right. Stuff like that. New England. I don't know what you changed.
Defense.
It's defense working a little bit. And,
Find the best defensive back available in the draft and take it.
Patriots have multiple number ones again this year.
Probably seems like I think they get complimentary picks every year. It's like they're at that open bar with the 2 tickets thing, and they just hoard them all.
Right.
And or they get from other people. It's like, you're not drinking. Give me your
Right.
ticket. That's what Dolphins have the 9th pick, by the way.
And they
You're
could.
asking about Seattle.
Oh, he was at Seattle.
Yeah. But I was going to bring up something with the Dolphins.
12th.
Okay.
I know and I hate to jump, but you're a Redskins fan. Do you think, and you want a quarterback, and if you want one in the draft, are you concerned the Dolphins take RG3 at 9?
Well, the Redskins have the 6th
Yeah,
pick, so I
okay,
wouldn't be
well, never
concerned
mind.
about that.
Yeah.
Well, if you're the Dolphins, are you concerned that you might not have a quarterback there at 9 to take?
Yeah, I don't think that it's a given that the Dolphins draft a quarterback.
New England, yeah. I mean, I agree with you. It's kind of like, hey, I'm not eating my salad. Give me your open bar tickets. I'll give you my salad. They make trades.
It's like, would it be nice if maybe New England got a dominant running back? Sure, but they showed they don't really
need it.
Right. Their best running back, I think, of all time under the Brady era, probably Corey Dillon.
And I remember that name in a long time.
He didn't. I mean, he obviously was not a 2,000 yard rusher. I remember one year the Patriots had 4 first-round picks.
Wow.
And the problem with having
we wonder why they're so good.
The problem with having these multiple first-round picks, though, is you got to pay them first-round money.
But then the goal is that you trade down for it.
Right.
You trade them out to.
Who were their other receivers after Welker? I mean, if you count Gronk and Hernandez as receivers.
Is Dion? They're still.
Oh, yeah, he's still there.
Julian Edelman?
Yeah. Didn't he get in some legal...
I don't know, but he was playing defensive back in the Redskins game against them.
God, it's bad if you're having to convert offensive people to defense. Yeah. Hainsworth was a bust for them probably.
So was Mr. Ochocinco.
I was going to say, if not as bad or worse than Ochocinco.
Well, at least Ochocinco's still on the team.
Who is the Patriots' best defensive player anyway? Is it Mayo, or is he slipping?
I still like Wilfork.
Right. I mean, I take it they have nothing in the secondary?
Nothing that I can remember.
Okay,
They don't have Rodney Harrison anymore.